Hey everyone, Kevin here. I touched on something in my last video that made me want to create an entirely different one based around it. The concepts of constructive and destructive feedback. People often talk about the former, but not the latter. And to function well as a team, you need to examine and understand both of these concepts. As you can guess, one lifts you up and provides meaningful feedback on your performance, while the other tears down your confidence and ridicules not only your work, but you as a person. And as educators, we were the recipients of that second variety more often than not. This is why the evaluation system in teaching is so ludicrously bad, and I have railed against it on countless occasions. I was constantly insulted, and what feedback I was given by administrators typically was vague, ill defined, and focused on me as a person rather than my actual job performance. For example, one of my last evaluations from an assistant principal essentially boiled down to literally this quote: "Your test scores are low. You need to change that, and this really reflects poorly on you right now." I'm not going to even cover how we shouldn't judge teachers based on their test scores in the first place. We actually just did an entire podcast episode on that, by the way. I'll link it below. But what I wanted to focus on here is how that critique isn't actionable and only served to frame everything as my fault and responsibility. Basically, you have to ask yourself, what could I feasibly do with that feedback? I felt like I was always defending myself from administrators and even students to a degree, rather than doing my actual job or growing professionally. I have said numerous times that toward the end of my career in the classroom, I really stagnated. I wasn't learning new things anymore, and to be honest, I didn't even really want to. Again, I was too busy with defending myself from unprofessional attacks on my conduct or teaching abilities to try anything else. That is destructive feedback. It tears you down, gaslights you into thinking problems beyond your control are somehow your responsibility, and leads you down the path of burnout due to unfathomably low morale. You wonder why teacher retention is so bad. And to be clear, I think anyone listening to this who isn't a teacher has experienced something similar in their own work experience. Bosses who only provide this type of belittling feedback are not worthy of our effort or time, and you need to escape that type of incredibly toxic working environment. Now, on the other hand, you should thrive on constructive feedback. Those of us who have gone through so many of those destructive experiences will find accepting actually good feedback difficult. I certainly still do at times. Because I legitimately have PTSD from my evaluation experiences, and it was one of the main reasons I dealt with depression and mental health issues for so many years. Constructive feedback should be about the work, not you, and should be about making outcomes better in the long run by building on existing ideas and giving you goalposts to grow toward. I often, as an instructional designer now, get to say 30 comments on a course I'm making, but instead of being about me, the comments are about the project. And for my project managers and stakeholders, all they're interested in is making a better deliverable that meets their needs. Keep in mind, a lot of those comments will be negative ones because constructive feedback doesn't always mean positive, but they're useful feedback nonetheless. I still struggle sometimes and get defensive about my work, but have to constantly remind myself that the edits are natural and genuinely do make such a better final product. I always feel like I grow with that feedback too instead of just being defensive. The benefits of an environment founded on constructive feedback, though, are undeniable. Number one, better company culture. Sharing ideas like this creates a workplace based on respect and collaboration. Number two, it encourages growth. I touched on this one already, but to add to what I said, constructive feedback allows people to grow from mistakes and do better next time with actionable goals. Number three, new perspectives. Seeing things from different angles, even if you're a great worker, can lead to better outcomes and inspire you to try something new. I've done that a number of times recently. Number four, you'll end up with increased productivity. Constructive feedback allows you to know what went wrong. share ideas or opinions, and come up with solutions so much faster than if we did so alone. But this all begs the question, though, how do we create and ensure such an environment exists, especially for those of you who are listening that are in positions of authority? Well, you should ask questions for understanding, never assume anything. Be timely within the moment feedback rather than something months later that can't be acted upon. I had that happen repeatedly as a teacher as well, and it was so immensely frustrating. Encourage open communication so everyone feels comfortable sharing their ideas without judgment. Again, respect. Give specific examples about what needs to be improved as well. Again, as I said earlier, vague comments that aren't actionable don't help. Finally, meet in person and have genuine conversations. Don't just rely on emails or Slack messages. As I said in my previous video as well, body language and tone means so much when it comes to understanding what another person is saying, and you need to be able to see them to read it. Remember, no one is perfect, and we all need feedback in order to grow, but seek out positions where you are given constructive criticism rather than destructive jobs that tear you down and make you feel like you can't move forward. It's an important distinction that you need to keep an eye out for. But as always, I am here to help you reach that point however I can. See you next time.